In The Handmaid's Tale, Margaret Atwood uses the characters of Moira as well as the symbolism of flowers, gardens, and makeup to critique the oppressive structures of Gilead that reduce women to predefined roles and functions. Through Moira's transformation from a symbol of rebellion to one of inevitability, the imagery of flowers and gardens, reflecting women's dehumanization and suppressed emotions, and the dual role of makeup as a tool of both control and femininity, Atwood illustrates how the regime strips women of individuality and agency while exposing the fragility of Gilead's seemingly invincible authority.
In The Handmaid's Tale, flowers and gardens are incorporated to represent the stages of a woman's life in Gilead. In chapter 17, there is a passage that states, "I want to steal something. What should I take? In the woods at midnight, a magic flower, a withered daffodil, not one from the dried arrangements. The daffodil will soon be thrown out. They're beginning to smell." This represents how once women can no longer reproduce, they are officially out of their bloom. They are then seen as useless and thrown out, as well as seen as trash. This represents the way women are treated as a cycle in Gilead. When it comes to gardens, they are commonly used to show, without saying, how the wives feel behind closed doors. In chapter 25, Offred describes Serena's garden and states there is something subversive about this garden of Serena's, a sense of buried things bursting upwards wordlessly into the light, as if to point to say whatever is silence will clamor to be heard, though silently. This garden's description represents how the wives feel in Gilead, their husbands sleeping with other women and betraying their wives, yet the wives are supposed to see it as a favor from the handmaids. Serena Joy loves the power she holds in her status within Gilead, so she silences her suffering when faced with the task of watching as her husband does marital acts with another woman.
In Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale, makeup plays a significant symbolic role in exploring themes of identity, control, and resistance within the confines of Gilead. In this society, where individuality is suppressed, makeup simultaneously symbolizes rebellion and compliance. On one hand, makeup evokes memories of the pre-Gilead world, where women expressed their individuality and autonomy. For Offred, the act of wearing makeup, even in secret, represents a connection to her former self, a self that had the freedom to express her identity. On page 96, or chapter 17 of the novel, Offred says, "There's no longer any lotion or face cream. Not for us. Such things are considered vanities." This shows the hierarchical structure within Gilead, as the handmaids are prohibited from wearing makeup or even lotion as it goes against the moral codes set in place by male commanders. However, Offred sneaks butter to use as lotion, which, in a world where women are stripped of their names and reduced to their reproductive roles, this simple act becomes an act of defiance, and a way of reclaiming agency over her body and appearance. On the other hand, Gilead twists the meaning of makeup to reinforce its oppressive norms. Makeup is not entirely banned. Instead, its use is controlled and weaponized to serve the state's agenda. This is shown in Jezebel's, which further complicates this symbol, as women there wear makeup and more revealing clothing, but only to cater to male desires, highlighting the hypocrisy of the morals of Gilead. Ultimately, makeup in The Handmaid's Tale serves as a reminder of what has been lost, a world of self-expression, choice, and autonomy, and what continues to be enforced, the exploitation and control of women under the mask of societal order. Through this symbol, Atwood critiques the manipulation of beauty as both a tool of oppression and a quiet form of resistance.
Another powerful symbol shown throughout the novel is Moira. Moira's escape from the Red Center marks a pivotal moment in the training portion of The Handmaids. Offred recalls, "Moira was our fantasy. We hugged her to us. She was with us in a secret, a giggle. She was lava beneath the crust of daily life." In the light of Moira, the aunts were less fearsome and more absurd. Their power had a flaw to it. What previously felt like an invincible institution was exposed as flawed. Her escape demonstrates that their power had a flaw to it, showing that resistance and even escape are possible. The handmaids clung to that idea of Moira, seeing her as lava beneath the crust of daily life, a symbol of hope that provided strength to persevere despite their grim reality. The shared fantasy gave them a sense of renewal, even though they had no idea what became of Moira after her escape. Further into the relationship between the commander and Offred, he takes her to Jezebel's, the club. As Offred visits Jezebel's with the commander, she sees Moira again and realizes the harsh reality of her fate. Then I see her, Moira. She's dressed absurdly, in a black outfit of one shiny satin that looks the worse for wear. She stands on one foot, then the other. Her feet must hurt. Her spine sags slightly. She gazes without interest or speculation around the room. This must be familiar scenery. Moira, once a symbol of defiance, now stands, dressed absurdly, in a black outfit of one shiny satin that looks the worse for wear. Her posture sagging and her gaze devoid of interest. Her reduction to a worker in a club for the upper class shatters the hope she once represented. Moira, who had been a figure of rebellion and strength, now exemplifies the inevitability of Gilead's oppressive system, which reduces women to simple roles and functions. This encounter underscores the despair of knowing that even those who resist the system are ultimately consumed by it.
Margaret Atwood effectively depicts the systems of control under Gilead's repressive government in The Handmaid's Tale through the use of Moira the Aunts and symbolic objects like flowers, gardens, and makeup. Atwood criticizes the lowering of women to predetermined roles through Moira's transformation, the dehumanizing depictions of nature, and the dual function of makeup as a tool of oppression and femininity. Her investigation acts as a more general social critique, cautioning against the perils of complacency in the face of authoritarianism and structural inequality. In conclusion, these components make readers consider the ongoing fight for independence and uniqueness by exposing the fragility of Gilead's power and the high price of its subordination.
I can't believe we made it this far. 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 And in the sky, and I can't believe I made it this far.